Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, I'm out here cruising around in the Tacoma. It's actually morning right now. It's a nice crisp day. It's 64 degrees, no humidity, bright sunshine, just like it should be at this time of the year in deep South Texas. Love it. But anyway, I was out here cruising around, and I was thinking, you know, there are 5 things that the Toyota Tacoma does not have, features that the Tacoma does not have that we don't want. Unfortunately, they're probably coming. They're probably going to be in the next gen Tacoma, but I hope not. So I thought I'd run through these real quick and see what you guys think. At the end, leave a comment. Let me know. Do you agree? Are these 5 features that you don't want either? I'd be curious to know. Number 1, auto stop. The dreaded auto stop. Now, if you've been living in a cave and you don't know what auto stop is, it's that feature that when you stop the vehicle, it shuts off. Supposedly to save gas. At the cost of your starter, probably. I mean, it only makes sense to me. When the starter's constantly stopping and starting, like if you're in heavy stop and go traffic, maybe a lot of stoplights or something, it can't be good for the starter. Now, they say it saves on gas. I don't see how. You know, I think it's been proven that your vehicle uses a good amount of gas every time it restarts, right? So what's the trade-off? I mean, how long do you have to sit there with the engine off before you make up for the gas that it takes to restart the vehicle when it restarts? It's such a horrible system. In the Jeep Gladiator, it's caused tons of problems because they have an auxiliary battery, and that auxiliary battery system has caused all kinds of errors. Something I am not looking forward to and definitely do not want in the Toyota Tacoma, but it's in the Tundra, the redesigned Tundra, so you know it's coming to the redesigned Tacoma. Next up, number 2, reverse lockout. This is another horrible feature. I have it in the Jeep Gladiator, and when it first happened, I thought something was actually wrong. What it is when you open the door and you go to back up, you know, like if you're hanging back to see or something, it won't move. It locks. It's a safety feature. It locks the transmission because it's worried that you're going to fall out of the truck, that maybe you left it into reverse and you forgot, you're going to step out, so the truck starts to go backwards. It's a horrible nanny feature. It's like wearing a mask in your car while you're driving by yourself. What the heck, man? I mean, come on. Like I said, it happened to me one day. I was in my driveway. I was backing up against some landscaping timbers or something, and I wasn't sure how close I was. So I opened the door. I leaned over to look back. I hit the gas, and it did move slightly, and then it froze. I had no idea what was wrong. I hope they don't put that in the Toyota Tacoma, but you know, it's another one of those nanny safety features that's probably gonna come. Next up, number 3, the floating infotainment screen. For some reason, Toyota has gone this route across the board. They've done it in the Tundra, and they've done it in, I think, every other model that they have. And what I'm talking about is the iPad-looking radio or infotainment screen that kind of sticks up above the dash. It looks like you could grab it and just pull it off and walk away with it. Now, I'm sure that you can, but that's what it reminds me of, a computer screen that they've just kind of plopped in the truck because they didn't really want to do the engineering to integrate it fully into the dash system. And I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's got to do with money. It must be an easier design. And like I said, it's a lot more complicated to engineer it so it actually fits seamlessly in the center cluster area or the center area. I think it looks horrible. I think it looks unfinished. I think it looks like an afterthought. But as I mentioned, Toyota seems to be doing it across the board. They're putting it in all their models. I hope they don't do that with the Tacoma, but like the auto stop, they're probably going to do it. Next up, number 4, the big one, the 4-cylinder engine. This is a foregone conclusion. I think everybody has accepted now, not that they like it, but they've accepted that we're going to have a 4-cylinder turbo in the new Toyota Tacoma. Now, for me, I kind of go back and forth on this one. You know, I want more power. I want more off-the-line power. And I think we're going to get that with the 4-cylinder turbo. The problem is longevity. You know, I think one of the biggest complaints that I hear is how long is it going to last? Turbos don't last as long as non-turbos. So you're going to have a problem if you keep it for a long time, which isn't necessarily an issue for me. I do trade them out frequently, so probably not an issue for me. Although, once the new Tacoma comes out, unless they, you know, have some improvement along the way, I probably will keep it for a long time, because I've learned that Toyota doesn't make a lot of changes. So to switch them out too often or often doesn't really make a lot of sense, because for the money that you're spending, you don't really get anything else except a new color and maybe a couple of other features at a different trim level, say the Sport versus the off-road, the flat hood versus the fake hood scoop, things like that. So for me, it might become a little bit more important, because I actually, most likely, maybe, will keep the new Toyota Tacoma for quite a while. So who knows? And maybe Toyota has somehow come up with a turbo that's going to last longer than people think. Time will tell. We're going to find out. Next up, number 5. And this was rather disappointing in the new Tundra. I drove the new Tundra, and when we took off, it started beeping, making this chime noise. And honestly, it took us a few minutes to figure out what the heck it was. It sounded like a seatbelt warning chime. And indeed, that's what it was. But we were both, the two people, me and the sales guy that were sitting in the front, were wearing our seat belts. However, the fellow that was with us in the back was not. And that's why it was chiming. It was alerting us that the passenger in the rear was not wearing their seat belt. Now, further with this, and maybe it was just a malfunction in the system. I mean, it was a brand new truck. It was also a brand new redesigned truck. But the one that was making the chime sound was on the other side of the truck, not where he was sitting. So you couldn't argue, I guess, that, yeah, he should have his seatbelt on, and because the seat registered him sitting there via his weight, it was giving us a warning. Not the case. We actually had to pull off the road and fasten the seatbelt on the other side. Oh, and I will mention, he did fasten his seatbelt and it didn't go away. That's how we knew it was the other side. But we had to fasten the other side to get that chime to stop. And there's no way you want to just live with that. I mean, if you're driving down the road and the seatbelt's chirping, that's crazy. Who wants to listen to that? So anyway, those are just 5 features that the new Toyota Tacoma is probably going to have that we don't really want. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you mind these things, or do you agree with me? We don't want them. I would be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator, and Mod Driven, all about the Mercedes-Benz. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.